Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. As you can see, we're surrounded by books. That means we have book related content. So I haven't done one of these, I think, since December, but I am doing a book recommendation video. It is going to be romance because I have an abundance of romance books, but these romance books are specifically written by Black authors. So that's our little fun tidbit. We have a little mix of options here. Some second chance, romance, some sports romance. It's all good stuff. And only 2 of these are like the start of a series. More like a interconnected standalone series. Yeah. So I'm gonna start with Fake It Till You Bake It by Jamie Wesley. This is one of my favorites. Oh, actually I have 3 books that are starts of interconnected series. This being one of them. The second one comes out in November, I think. But I absolutely love this one. Look at the cover. It's so cute. This to me was like kind of a realistic one, aside from the part that the male main character, he's like a pro footballer, but then he also owns a bakery and he works there, which I mean, like, I don't know a pro football player's schedule if you have that time, but I don't think you have that time to play pro football and run like a top bakery. I don't know, maybe you do, but that was kind of like the only unrealistic part. And our female main character, she comes from, like, she did this reality TV show, kind of like The Bachelor. And basically she turns the guy down and then she has to go back into the real world. And it's a little bit of ups and downs, which I think that's realistic because there's so many dating shows and reality this and that. So that's one of the reasons I loved it. Another one, the characters are just great. And the fact that the series is going to continue, which again, it's like interconnected. I think it's going to be great. He doesn't work at the bakery alone. He has 2 of his other friends that work there with him, but they are also football players. Again, I don't know what your time management looks like, but that's what we have. I'm going to read the book back and then I guess discuss more, but I already discussed a handful. Jada Townsend Matthews is the most reveled woman in America after turning down a marriage proposal on a reality dating show. When she comes home to lick her wounds, Jada finds herself working at San Diego's newest cupcake bakery, Sugar Blitz, alongside the uptight owner and professional football player Donovan Dell. When a reporter mistakenly believes Jada and Donovan are an item, they realize they can use this misunderstanding to their advantage to help the struggling bakery and rehabilitate Jada's image. Faking a relationship should be simple, but sometimes love is the most unexpected ingredient. Fake It Till You Bake It is a sweet confection of a novel, the perfect story to curl up with while enjoying a cupcake on the side. So, because I talked about how the bakery is popular, it starts off not so popular, but then kind of once the news that Jada and Donovan are dating, more people are going to visit, they're trying to see her, and then they kind of do a little bit of collaboration on what's like being included in the bakery, and then it kind of takes off from there and it gets a lot of traction. So again, I don't what is your time management? And then it comes to find out they have like a connection through, I believe it's like the woman who owns Donovan's football team knows Jada. It's some type of connection they have going on, but it's insanely cute. And definitely Donovan kind of comes off as like standoffish a little bit because they have a altercation, I'm putting that lightly, a little disagreement when they kind of first meet and they aren't really feeling each other. So then they have those pre-notions of each other and then they get wrapped up into this fake dating. And you know, fake dating is always a great way to lead to real dating. I mean, it happens in all the books. If they fake date, they are 9 times out of 10 going to get together in the end. And as you can see, it's not that thick of a book. it was a very quick read, and I actually talked my friend Jariah into reading it. This has 324 pages. Well, she listened to the audiobook, but she really liked it. And when I can convince one of my friends to read a book that I've read, I think it's just great. That means it's a really good book, because like some of my friends don't read all the time. So if I can get them to read, that means it's a solid book. This was a 5-star read. You should read this book and prepare for November when the second one is out. Yeah, go read it. It's so cute. And again, look at the cover. Stunning. So we're gonna keep it pushing with this romance. Next, we're gonna do 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. Look how cute. And I think I talked about this in one of my videos. How I'm very, or maybe I haven't, I don't know. I'm very iffy about real people on covers of books, but I feel like this is okay, because sure, they're real people, but the way it's positioned, it's not an ick. Sometimes real people on covers makes me not want to read the book, but this is like a bypass of it, because look how cute it is. And then the title is like on top of it as well, so it's not too much. But this one is actually, they're both romance authors, and they write about each other, or shall I say they write to each other through their romance books, but they had a tough time. So like, this is Second Chance. They had a past together, and then some stuff went down. They kind of went their ways, but they still kind of talk to each other through their romance books. And I think that's so cute. Like, you're writing about me. We haven't spoken in X amount of years, but you're still writing about me. You're writing to me in your books. And they both keep up with each other because they do read each other's books, but they don't like physically talk to each other. Yep. Okay. 7 Days to Fall in Love, 15 Years to Forget, and 7 Days to Get It All Back Again. Eva Mercy is a single mom and a best-selling erotica writer who is feeling pressed from all sides. Shane Hall is a reclusive, award-winning novelist who, to everyone's surprise, shows up in New York. When Shane and Eva meet unexpectedly at a Black literary event, sparks fly. But what no one knows is that 15 years earlier, teenage Eva and Shane spent one crazy torrid week madly in love and have been secretly writing to each other in their books ever since. For the next 7 days, amidst a steamy Brooklyn summer, Eva and Shane reconnect, but Eva's worried of the man who broke her heart. Before Shane disappears again, she needs a few questions answered. When its keen observation of creative life in America today, as well as the joys of complications of being a mother and a daughter, 7 Days in June is a hilarious, romantic, and sexy as hell story of two writers discovering their second chance at love. So the whole thing starts, because I think it was like a social media thing or something, but Shane ends up coming to this Black literary conference, which Eva was going to, but she didn't know Shane was going to be there. So it's like first time running into each other in 15 years, and everyone, like, they end up doing a panel together. I can't remember if they're sitting next to each other or not, but everyone is picking up on the chemistry and the tension between the two of them, but no one knows about what happened between them 15 years ago. And then also no one knows that they've been writing to each other in like their books. They can kind of just pick up on what's happening on stage. So during the time of the literary conference is basically the time Eva and Shane have together to kind of discuss what happened 15 years ago, discuss what's currently going on now, you know, writing to each other in these books. And it's so cute and it's great. And it also talks about like the relationship that Eva has with her daughter, which does play a part. And what I do like about this, with her being a single mom, it's not like her daughter is a prop. Like, she's actually included in the book. And what I'm saying is, like, sometimes authors do books with the children, and then it's like the children are mentioned, but they don't, it's like here and there, and you low-key forget there's a child at all. That's not the case here. So it does have like that good mother-daughter aspect in here as well, which I think is really cute. And I love it, and it's so wholesome. And like, look how they're holding each other. And the cover, it's love. And this is definitely one of my favorite second chance romances, because sometimes they don't give, but this was giving, and it was valid reasons for the 15-year time gap. there we have it, 7 Days in June by Tia Williams, which she also has another book out. I'm blanking on the name, but it's on my list to read. I haven't got it yet, but I will. And then my last two books are actually by the same author, and they're also the start to their own interconnected series. So this is Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan. Very emotional turmoil. I think I did a 24-hour reading with this book. Maybe, I can't remember. But emotional turmoil. This is a start in the Hoop series. The Hoops, it is a basketball series. It's 3 books. This one I think is definitely my favorite. This is also a second chance romance. Okay, I think we've covered bases. I want to read the back and then we'll discuss for this one, because there's a lot happening. She kissed the prince and he turned into a fraud. Now her fairy tale is upside down. Iris Dupree meets August West in a sports bar during her last semester of college. It's the conversation of a lifetime and sends sparks flying in every direction. The connection is undeniable, but the timing is all wrong. August is poised for the NBA draft and Iris belongs to another man, basketball's golden boy and August's longtime rival. The two go their separate ways, but they often recall that electric night and what could have been. While August has embarked on his all-star life, studded with wealth and fame, Iris's perfect public relationship has become a nightmare behind closed doors, a tarnished dream of fool's gold. When August re-enters her life, the world seems briefly bright again, but Iris's darkest nights are not over yet. To survive, she must build up her own strength and trust the bond between her and August can endure after all this time, even when her fraudulent prince has vowed to never let her go. Okay, so I will say this book has trigger warnings. I don't remember all of them because I tend to not read the trigger warnings in a book. I like to be surprised. I will say you might want to read the trigger warnings for said book, because I got to a part in the book and I was like, dang, maybe I should have read them. It gives you the little content warning right here. I skipped that page because I wanted to get started. But I'm trying to figure out what I can say so I don't spoil things. But as you heard, August and Iris met at this bar when they were in college, and immediately sparks were flying. It was great. I mean, like, they met at this bar because they were watching the game, and they started speaking, the game, and then he realized that there's more to her. Blase. But then it's like that next day or whatever, they have they go to a game and they see each other again, but Iris is with said golden boy. And that's when August kind of has to realize that Iris is taken, but he kind of always pines for her. So as these years go by, sure, he's living this new lifestyle, but he always thinks about Iris, and it's kind of hard not to, especially when her husband is said golden boy who also goes to the NBA. So he sees her all the time, and he's always wondering like what could have been, but not knowing that Iris is dealing with so much at home and she doesn't have like anyone to talk to, which Iris does have a cousin in this book, which is, it's mentioned, the relationship is mentioned and like what happens, because they start off super duper close and then something happens where it's a little bit strained, and then they have a moment where they get close again. Also, Iris and her cousin are from Louisiana. Her nickname is Gumbo. Just insert that in there because I thought that was funny. But Iris and her cousin's relationship does play an important role in this too, but I can't say much about what's going on with Iris because that's going to give away too much of the book. As you can see, she is kind of thick. There's a lot that's happening. There's a lot that they go through. I will say, I don't think it's like super bad because it kind of happened pretty early on, but Iris gets pregnant. And so not only is Iris dealing with so much at home, she's also trying to take care of her daughter and make sure her daughter has a great life. Because again, there's stuff about Iris and her cousin and their like past that plays a role into some things. you have to read about it because it's something serious and it's a lot going on. But after, a few years, Iris and August end up kind of reconnecting. I want to say it was like at an event or something, and he hadn't seen her in a long time, and then he sees like the baby, but he's talking to himself. Obviously he's not saying this to anyone, but like how she looks so good, like she seems to be a great mom. He loves what he's seen, how he wishes, things could have been different in the past, still not knowing what Iris has to do. And I feel like Iris was at a point where she still thinks about him, but at the same time her daughter comes first, so she's trying to do what's best for her daughter. And she puts her daughter at the forefront of all her decisions. And it's just great. I feel like that's all I can say, because what I want to say is going to give too much of the book away, and we can't have that, because you do have to read it. You do have to read it. It's my favorite in the series. All of them in the series are like fairly thick, but I think it's worth it to read about it. And this book has 466 pages. Again, it's the start of the Hoop series, and they are interconnected, so like if you read the second one without reading the first one, it is going to spoil some things. If that doesn't really matter to you, then you can do as you please, but it makes sense to read them in order. And then Iris's cousin actually has the last book in the series. Someone else has the second book, and then kind of goes back to like Iris and her cousin's relationship. There we have it. Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan. Okay, now we're moving on to the last book, another Kennedy Ryan book, which I think is definitely one of her most popular ones. But Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. This is another second chance romance, and it's so good. This was a 5-star read for me. And this was actually my introduction to Kennedy Ryan, and I haven't stopped. I have maybe 6 of her books, 7, because the second one to this series, the Skyland series, just came out, which I haven't read it yet. I do have it, but I just haven't read it yet, but I will get there. And I can't remember how many books are supposed to be in this series. Not sure, but I know it's interconnected. I'm looking forward to it. But this is the second chance with divorcees. So the two were married, and then they had 2 kids together, and they separated, and they co-parent, but then they're kind of at a stage in their life where a lot is happening with them, but also with the kids. So yes, but a very good second chance. And this is another cover where you see it's a real person on it, but it doesn't look bad. And maybe that's because it's in black and white. And just like for the cover for Tia Williams books, that it's in black and white, that it's not. Maybe that's what's making it different. But real people on the cover like this isn't bad. It doesn't give me the ick, if that makes sense. Oh no, I'm just picky. All right, their love was supposed to last forever, but when life delivered blow after devastating blow, Yasmin and Josiah Wade found that love alone couldn't solve or save everything. It couldn't save their marriage. Yasmin wasn't prepared for how life fell apart, but she's finally starting to find joy again. She and Josiah have found a new rhythm, co-parenting their 2 kids and running a thriving business together. Yet like magnets, they're always drawn back to each other. And now they're beginning to wonder if they're truly ready to let go of everything they once had. Soon, one stolen kiss leads to another, and then more. It's hot, it's illicit, it's all good until old wounds reopen. Is it too late for them to find forever, or could they even be better the second time around? Okay, so there's a lot that happens between the two, and honestly, I think the split, there were valid reasons on both sides on why the split happened, which I think is why they were so good at like co-parenting. And once you find out what happens, you'll understand both sides for Yasmin and Josiah, because it wasn't just like one specific thing. It was like a lot of things happening, and they happened so close together that it just one after another. separation. But what I want to know, which you don't find out, that Yasmin and her daughter, they kind of have a very rocky relationship. And I wouldn't say at the end of the book, it ends on like semi-good terms, but I feel like we need to know more on where the relationship stands, because sometimes her daughter was talking to her reckless. Like, I would never talk to my mama like that. I don't know. And sometimes it was a little reckless. It was like, dang. And the daughter is actually the oldest because they have a son. It's a daughter and the son. And the son is, they might have like five years apart or something. It's a pretty good like age gap between them. But yeah, the daughter, yeah, is a little iffy. It's like sometimes she would be so disrespectful to Yasmin, but her father Josiah could do no wrong. And that, to me, I don't like that attitude from her. But getting back to Yasmin and Josiah, while they're co-parenting and they're finding their new rhythm, it also becomes like the aspect of dating and how dating fits when you're co-parenting and you like were married. And that does come into play here, because someone gets introduced on like maybe both of their parts, but one maybe thought it would be a little bit more serious than the other. I'm not gonna say who, because both Yasmin and Josiah have something with someone. I don't want to spoil the surprise. And there's some like family holidays and stuff discussed here where those other people were brought, and you can see how they kind of interact with the kids and like other family members and what happens there, because some shade is thrown a little here and there, and it gets a little messy. But at the same time, the tension between Yasmin and Josiah is still evident. And I don't know if some of the other people they were dating were just like blind, or they were thinking maybe they can change them and be the one or whatnot, but the tension was obvious. It was there. And I think when it comes to the kids, maybe their son wanted them to get back together more so than the daughter, because I think the daughter just had a lot of issues with Yasmin, her mom, and she didn't understand fully, because there is like a big part that happens to Yasmin. I mean, it happens to the entire family, but I think it really took a toll on Yasmin, and that was definitely one of the reasons that led to the divorce, that I don't think her daughter really understood, and she just like took everything out on her mom. And I just have so much respect for Yasmin, because she went through so much and she was just trying to do the best for everyone. And I don't know, I feel like some points people weren't looking out for her, so she had to look out for herself. I don't know, it's great. And I think another part I love about the second chance is Yasmin and Josiah rediscovering each other and their love for each other, because I mean, you were married, you had 2 kids together, you've done so much, and you have the split, but then there's still that connection between the two of them, and they learn how to basically re-love each other. And I love that. And I'm hoping that they're going to be mentioned in the second book, because from my understanding, it's like an interconnected series, and the second book focuses on a new couple, but hoping that they're still mentioned, and maybe we find out what's happening between Yasmin and her daughter and things cleared up a bit. But before I let go, ladies and gentlemen, go read it. Another Kennedy Ryan book. Oh, I didn't say how many pages. This one has 391 pages, so kind of thick, kind of not. It was a quick-ish read. It kind of depends. Certain parts were a little bit faster than others. But those were my books to recommend. We're definitely gonna have some more, because like I said, a new Kennedy Ryan book came out. There's the new T. Williams book that I'm gonna need to get, and then Jamie's gonna be coming out with a new book in November. Really excited to go back into that world. So all of these were happy romances, all happy endings. If you're worried, read them. It's gonna make you warm and fuzzy inside. It's all good stuff. But hopefully y'all enjoy this. Y'all check out some of these books, some of these authors. But if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more, please hit the subscribe button down below. Peace and blessings, my loves.